best court going attire on.
Do you just?
Cernic.
Yeah.
Well, not Cernic.
Actually,
Shadow.
It's Shadow, actually.
All right, you nerd. Welcome on in, everybody, to Rime of the Frostmaiden, or to Mimicloaf, I should say. Tonight, we are playing Rime of the Frostmaiden. It is going to be a very special episode. We are doing something a little bit different tonight, but you'll find out soon enough. Obviously, before we begin, thank you to our two beautiful sponsors. First, Stabby Joe & Co. Created some really cool designs. They've got like shirts, they've got books, bags, bongs. What? Huh? Bongs?
No.
Next design. Books. You've got books, right? Book designs.
Yeah.
Yep. Stickers, like a whole bunch of stuff. Check out the link on our Twitch page, and use code MIMIC5 at checkout and you get 5% off. Our second sponsor is W.GG, creators of some Jitterless energy blends. If you head over there, use code MIMICLOAF at checkout and you get 10% off. I think that's pretty much it for announcements. So we'll quickly do recap. We'll do a little bit of RP and then we have some crazy stuff happen. So, first off, let's go recap. What happened last session? So you guys headed towards Torg's Trading Company on the inside of Bryn Shander. You guys knocked on kind of just walked in, started conversing with Sefik Caltro and his bandits. After a little bit of conversation, you guys agreed to showing all of your stuff on the table so that then Sefik would let you in and have a look around. You guys then had a look around, couldn't find anything to point towards Sefik being the murderer that that somebody had led you to believe. After a little bit, Sefik...
That lockbox was pretty sus, though.
Yeah,
we
after...
definitely don't have that.
No, definitely don't have that. After a little bit of looking around, you guys were then hastily ejected from the place by Sefik and his group, tricking, staying behind and doing a little bit of sneaky sneak. The rest of the party, I believe you guys said to them, oh, he wasn't feeling well. He probably went home. But he was, in fact, being sneaky sneak. You guys then proceeded to go around the back. Two of you went around the back. I believe that was Barrius and Thalion. And after a little bit of deliberation, Barrius cast Knock on the back door. At this point, Bartleby started creating a whole bunch of noise and old man yelling and and fist shaking at Torgs, at the front of Torgs, drawing a bit of a crowd. You guys had a bit of a battle that kind of happened. You guys managed to take down two of the bandits. One of which managed to escape, and not managed to escape, but managed to escape your grasp, I should say, and joined Sefik on the top. Wow, I'm getting my timeline fucking all mixed up. Let me start again. You guys cast Knock on the back door and began to come in. Sefik told his group to start attacking you guys, and battle ensued. Bartleby ran around the other side of the building and started yelling more. I believe that's pretty much all he did last session was yell and be an old man. It worked well, yeah. After a while, after the battle kind of went down for a bit, Thalion went down. Barrius was very close, if I remember correctly.
No, I only took 7 points of damage, but...
Oh, well, 7 points is like 20 to a wizard, so, you know. Took some damage. You guys traded blows. Bartleby managed to bring the whole town militia to this scene. There were about 100 plus people that quickly arrested you all. Sefik tried to get away with one of his bandits. He was stopped by the hordes of the militia. And I believe that's kind of where we left off.
And one of the militia died.
Well, multiple of the militia died.
Oh, well.
And and that's kind of where we are. So, you guys being in Torg's trading company, being completely surrounded by guards, you guys are quickly pulled together in a group and somewhat shackled. Not to the point where movement is impossible, but to the point where like escape is fairly impossible. You guys are escorted all the way down to the Bryn Shander Town Hall, where you are kind of locked up, so to speak, in a cell. This cell is very cold. It kind of seems to be open to the elements a little bit too much for something that could be ever comfortable. Snow is beginning to fall. You guys kind of get like shunted into this room. What do you guys want to do?
Barry's going to start freaking out.
Catman, lose the box.
Or shelve it.
Inverse exhale.
Yeah. I'm going to hide it somewhere.
Were all our possessions confiscated, or...?
So all of your weaponry were confiscated, but not possessions.
Okay, interesting.
So you don't have to mark them off. You don't have to mark them off your character sheet. Just keep them on there. Just keep in note that any weapon is not usable at this point in time. Yes, the bars.
The bars at the window there. What can I see when I look through them?
So you kind of like look through them and you're just met with cell upon cell upon cell. There's a couple of like disgruntled figures. There's a couple people like huddled next to each other for warmth. This jail cell definitely looks like a more of an intermediate holding area for people that are about to be questioned or whatnot.
Right. I'm going to go through my pack and I'm going to put the lockbox at the very bottom of it.
Cool.
Like,
hopefully hiding it below everything. Yep, totally fair.
Exactly
Cool.
right.
You managed to like shove it in the bottom of the bag.
Actually, I've got an idea. No, that's all right. Sorry, I was just thinking out loud.
Okay, so you don't need anything?
I was gonna say no. I wanted to do something else, but what I'll do is I'll bring this up to tricking. I'll say, when we get, when there's, if they do search us, I can cast a minor illusion on the, just above where the lockbox is, in the bag, and make like a false bottom of the bag, and so it looks like, oh look, it's just the bottom of the bag, but really there's a little bit extra and it's the lockbox underneath. What I was gonna say was, where I'm sitting, I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation, and I can warm up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour. So I'm gonna just like warm where I'm sitting.
The stone floor.
I'm gonna warm the stone floor for a little bit. It's not hot, but it's comfortably warm.
Yeah, cool. You managed to comfortably warm like a little hot plate, the tiny little stone at the bottom.
It's nice. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit up against the wall. I'm also gonna warm the wall behind me.
Fair enough. What are the rest of you all doing as you're in this cell? This little holding cell.
Old man napping.
Old man napping. So Bartleby just kind of leans up against the wall and he's out.
Yeah, heads down, like chin on chest.
Yeah, chin on
He is
chest.
asleep.
Cool. Thalion?
I'm going to meditate.
Meditate? Cool. So what feels like minutes suddenly turns into hours. And you guys spend a whole night in this very cramped, very small, very cold holding cell. you catch wind that investigators have been put on the case and are currently investigating the situation and what had transpired at Torg's Trading Company. But nonetheless, the sun, well, not the sun because Icewind Dale is in eternal night, but the aurora above
sky
kind of fills the area with a little bit more light.
Slightly less dark.
Yeah, it gets slightly less dark. And anybody that would have loved to have taken a long rest, you can mark that off as a long rest.
Thank you.
You guys are rudely awakened, some of you, to the sounds of guards like yelling and pointing fingers at each other, giving orders. One of them kind of comes up to the lot of you and goes, "Put your hands through the bars." Does everybody comply? Yep. Cool.
Yes, I put my hands through the bars.
One by one, you each are like handcuffed and somewhat shackled through like this little window in the bars. And you are then, the cell door is then opened. The guard kind of one by one pulls you out, chains you together, and goes, "Right, well, you've been assigned a lawyer. He's called to meet with you. Follow me." You guys are pulled very abruptly into your towards a different location. So as the cell door like groans open, you're marched, shackled, and sore into a cramped, book-stuffed chamber that smells like old paper, burnt wax, and faintly bacon. Stacks of dusty tomes lean at dangerous angles all around you, and at the center of the chaos sits a stubby desk, barely holding together under the weight of legal scrolls, ink-stained documents, and the remains of what was probably a sandwich. Behind it perches a portly figure with a pink porcine face and large ram-like horns curling from his temples. He's dressed like a courtroom peacock. Red vest, black coat trimmed with gold filigree, and a sweat-streaked white undershirt that's seen better days. A single comically oversized candle flickers beside him, casting dramatic shadows that he clearly thinks make him look important. The pigman leans forward, snorts once, and offers a sharp-toothed grin. "Oh, well, name's Saul Hambo, Esquire. Defence Attorney at Large. Emphasis on large. Don't worry, you're in good hooves now." And I'll give you a image. Where is my mouse?
So funny on the thing. Oh, okay. Well, that looks significantly fancier than what I was expecting. But
he then continues.
So I was going to say, I also love on the Foundry page, it's just all Hambo.
Yeah. He then continues speaking. "Oh, come on, just because you're in shackles doesn't mean you can't relax. Please, sit." You guys are kind of like left in this room, still shackled. A small little couch sits on the opposite side of this desk. He waits for you to sit down or talk.
I'll go and sit down.
Cool.
Speaking of hambos, I could go a ham sandwich.
Well, you won't find any leftovers here. I made short work of them. Well, anyway,
Isn't that cannibalism?
I don't know what you mean. My name, like I said, Saul Hambo, at your service.
And he kind of like offers his hand. You see it like covered in grease, and he kind of looks at it and then wipes it off, and then like goes to shake a hand, but then realizes quickly that the lot of you are chained up. He then continues, and he's like,
Well, I've been assigned your lawyer for this case. I'm very quite excited. It's my first case, you see.
It's your first case.
My first case, yes.
Wow, you seem to have gotten into the lawyering game pretty late in life. That's
Well, you see, not much
respectable.
happens around here in Brunshanda. I was a gardener before this, believe it or not.
Oh, don't worry, I believe it. So what made you want to get into law, practicing law?
To be honest, I thought it looked quite fun. You know, like on the operas and the plays. It looked fun, so I thought I'd give it a go.
Right. Okay. So you said this is your first case.
Yes, my first case ever.
Right. And I'm assuming there's some fantasy version of the bar, you know?
What's that?
The bar exam. Oh, fuck. This is a question for you, Nathan. I'm assuming there's a fantasy version of the bar.
No.
No?
No.
So any Joe Schmo can just fucking come in off the street and be like, I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Alright. Okay. Well, do you have, like, where did you study? Have you studied?
Yes, I read quite a few books and
Okay.
and watched a few of those
quite a few.
operas and plays. My favorite was I don't quite remember. I think it had like it was started with an S or an L or something. It was like 3 words. Yes, no, it was like Super Victims Unit or something.
Oh, God. Okay.
He's
So,
a true crime fan is what we've got here.
yeah, he's a true crime fan, exactly. He
Dateline.
watches a lot of, fucking JCF on YouTube. He watches a lot of, police interviews and
Strikes me
court
as a Dateline
cases.
fan.
Yes, well, anyway, the investigators have given me the evidence, and I am here to get you off scot-free.
Right, okay. So, okay, do you have the evidence here, or do you have the evidence list here? Can we
Yes,
see it?
I'll show you.
And then he goes to, he
Okay.
pulls a couple of notes and hands you the evidence list. While we do that, viewers, we got something special for you. While the party begin looking over their evidence list and supported documents, yeah, you get to watch this.
In the frozen 10 towns of Icewind Dale, justice is a fragile flame against the endless night. Law is upheld by 2 vital forces: the town militia, who uncover the truth behind crimes, and the speaker's adjudicators, who pass judgment on the accused. These are their stories.
Also, is it possible?
We are
Is
back.
it possible to?
I hope everybody enjoyed that.
I know I did.
Same. Yes.
Is there a way for you to bring up the map of the crime scene as well?
I
on
can.
One of the slides without,
Yep.
yeah, just so that I want to have a look and cross-reference. Are you right?
No, I'm left.
Bambu's running around.
So Saul Hambo, your lawyer, your attorney, Saul Hambo Esquire, begins to go over the evidence. I will read the evidence list to the video, to everybody watching at home, for anybody playing at home, as they say. So there are 30 pieces of evidence total. There are frost dagger fragments, an arrow lodged in a door frame, bloodstains near the front entrance, arcane scorch marks on the interior storage crates, boot prints leading from a back alley to the warehouse's rear entrance, disrupted crates in the rear corner, residual invisibility aura detected near storage hallway, an open healing potion bottle, a disturbed dirt trail inside the hallway suggesting stealthy passage, evidence of forced magical unlocking, splinters embedded in knuckles, broken spell component pouch, magic residue on Sephic's gloves, unfired arrows still in Laska's quiver, fletching fragments, drag marks, Bartleby's voice identified by 3 townsfolk as yelling accusations, no broken windows or exterior signs of damage before guards arrived, frozen scorch line across the floor, a bandit sword broken cleanly like magical impact, likely magical impact, a warehouse ledger showing no illegal shipments, contradicting the trafficking claims, unclaimed belt clasp found near Sephic's back door exit path, minor blood splatter on Laska's sleeve, a single militia guard's wound matches a thrown dagger, not an arrow, one crate labeled hazardous was broken up during the scuffle, broken open during the scuffle. Wow, thank you. 2 bar stools knocked over in the main area before the main combat began. Sephic's pulse and temperature noted as abnormally low by the town healer. A message scratched into the inside wall. Don't trust the cold one. Wow, I'm really having a problem with language today. A half-burned note warning Sephic about recent murders, and in the inventory intact, but storage crates clearly rearranged. That is our evidence list. We will go into how that is going to be used in a little bit. Yes, anybody have questions? As you guys kind of go over this list with Saul, he points out the little bits and pieces, adding his own ham-themed anecdotes to a lot of them, and weird ham-themed puns.
Wonderful.
So, you see, it's up to us to, when they give their testimonies, to point at the contradicting evidence, you see. Does that make... It's probably very hard for you to understand, being that you are not lawyers, but try and follow along.
I mean, you're technically not a lawyer yet.
Well, I mean... This is my first case. Of course I am your lawyer. I'm your appointed lawyer.
What's your rate? How much did the town get you for? I'm assuming really cheap.
Oh, as cheap as a slice of ham.
So, okay, that's even less than I was expecting.
But you see, I'm kind of on a retainer, so it kind of works itself out. They give me this office. You see over there, and he points over towards a small crammed shoulder corner that has a bunch of books and law journals piled up and a sheet over the top. He goes, and I sleep here too, so it's like free accommodation.
Yeah. You fucking freak. All right. Okay. I'm gonna start kind of writing. I'm gonna look at the evidence list. And I'm gonna start jotting down some notes and you know, coming up with some sort of like theories and ways that we can explain things. Specifically, the warehouse ledger showing no illegal shipments, which apparently contradicts our trafficking claims.
Disagree, because the trafficking I was talking about was people trafficking, not
exactly
goods
and
trafficking.
Exactly, and I would say that if they were doing something illegal, why would they put it on the ledgers? Anyway, that's why I'm going to.
Very good point,
I'm gonna go
also.
through and I'm gonna write some stuff down. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
Barry's is gonna start doing some notes.
While you start taking notes, I will explain.
Maybe Barry should be a fucking lawyer. Maybe Barry.
Yeah, maybe Barrius could be a barrister. Barrius.
Yeah, Barrius the barrister.
Yeah. So Saul then kind of gives you a layout of how the court is going to, how it's going to happen, and this is where I will talk about the how we're going to do this. So it is a little bit different from normal D&D. So first, the way it'll work is we take it in turns to do like testimonies. So it will be one of the bad guys, then one of you, one of the bad guys, one of you, one of the bad guys, one of you, one of the bad guys. So there's a total of...
two bad guys left?
There is, but they were healed and brought back to consciousness for this trial, so that they can figure out who is at fault.
I feel like most of them were dead, so that's impressive that they brought them back.
Well, they were unconscious. They technically weren't
Except
dead.
for the one that I fucking blew a hole in with my fucking magic missile.
Yeah, okay.
Bang, 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 bang.
Look,
Punched a hole through his
contradictions
chest.
always happen in law, so you know it's bound to happen.
Only immortality happens. In
Yeah,
as well.
it does. 100%. 100%. Yeah, so the way it's going to work is you guys will take it in turns to do your testimony, and bad guys will also have a testimony. When a bad guy is having a testimony, you will notice on the soundboard for the server, there is a new sound added. Jackson, if you would like to demonstrate. When you have an objection, you play that sound and I will stop. You can play that objection noise at any point and I will stop speaking. It is then up to you to tell me where the objection lies based purely on the evidence. Based purely on the evidence list. Okay? If you successfully call out a contradiction, I will give you what is called a credibility point. If you wrongly call out a contradiction, you will lose a credibility point. If you don't call a contradiction at all, nothing happens. It just like that, you don't lose a point, you don't gain a point. Then it goes to one of your guys' turns. You will then speak and I will question you a little bit. Like a tiny little bit. You will be given, you will then have to tell us what your turn of events were. Based on that and based on how you want to go about doing it, obviously, like say how you want to do it, say what kind of skill check, if you want to try and use a different skill check, you can. But based on that, we'll do a roll and that will gain you credibility points or lose you credibility points, or keep your credibility points at the same, depending on roles, depending on what you guys say, how you say it, what kind of skill check, like all that kind of stuff. We'll go back and forth until eventually everybody's had a turn. You will then be taken back to the cells and then await the next day for the verdict. Any questions so far?
Okay.
No, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. So without further ado, I give you Icewind attorney, Rime of the Lawmaiden. So let me get a little bit more thematic music going. Let's just do that. I might just put on some combat music. Does that sound good to everyone? Let's
Mental combat.
Yeah. Mental combat, right? So as you guys are then chained again and brought to the courtroom, the doors to the courtroom swing open with a solemn creak as you're ushered inside. The chamber is grander than expected. Dark wood paneling, frosted windows leaking pale morning light, and rows of benches filled with murmuring onlookers. At the far end stands the judge's high seat, but it's the man... it's the man that is already stationed at the persecution table who draws your eye. Let me give you the courtroom. Dressed in a finely tailored black coat. I'll just give you the image. Yeah, dressed in a finely tailored black coat over a gleaming gold vest, Cornelius Vane stands tall and composed, posture perfect as though sculpted by etiquette itself. His hair, stark white and immaculately combed, gleams beneath the courtroom lanterns. A matching beard and moustache frame a face both stern and elegant, save for the black leather eye patch that hides his eye like a secret too dignified to discuss. He turns slightly at your approach, offering a polite, if razor-thin, smile. His remaining eye, a piercing grey, lingers on each of you just for a second longer, then feels comfortable. With a voice aged like brandy, and absolute confidence, he remarks, the defense arrives. I do hope your counsel has brought something stronger than barnyard charm today. And you guys are taken into... you chuckle at him, and he's just like...
Yeah.
Good job.
I'm getting in good with the prosecution.
Yeah. So that they're going easy on you.
Hopefully they're a bit more lenient. Yeah.
They usher you towards your seats. Right next to you guys is none other than Saul Hambo. He kind of speaks up and he's like,
oh, don't worry about him, chaps. I've got a good feeling about this one.
It's okay. It's not him that I'm worried about.
And we will begin. So right, first...
Before we officially start, I would like to share some of the notes that I've got. Just, have my notes that I've been writing.
Oh, fucking Hamburn has it.
No, like I've been writing in my one of my many notebooks.
Your many spell. You're just making notes in the headers of your spell book.
In the margins of the spell book. But I've got, based on the evidence list, I've got 4 points that we could potentially bring up. So, the frost dagger fragments, and this is like we can. So just so our story is straight, this one applies to frost dagger fragment, magic residue on Sapphic glove, frozen scorch line across the floor. Is fired by Sapphic as we tried to retrieve our friend. So the narrative that we're going for here is we entered, we were looking for evidence about anything that they'd heard anything about murders that had been happening in Icewind Dale. So we entered, didn't find anything. They offered us and let us search, and we searched around. We kind of all split up, and when we rejoined, Tricking was missing, but we didn't realize. We had assumed that Tricking had already left.
Just to call that out, that's the part where we have to be careful with how we say it and when we say it, because that is a bald-faced lie. We did know.
It is a lie. Exactly, but this is the story. Yeah. This is the broad story we're going with. Tricking left. Or we weren't aware of where Tricking went. We assumed that Tricking had already left the building.
Saying that in ways that don't confirm that is going to be the key there. No,
we had
D&D,
yes.
I mean DM.
Yes, we can say we had assumed.
We were unaware of his location at that time.
We were unaware of his location at that time, yes.
We were unaware of his exact location.
Yeah, well, exactly. We'll say that. We were unaware of his exact location
Sold
at that
out
time.
here.
No.
We were
unaware
figure
of
out
his,
the best way to lie about where you were.
we were unaware of his exact location. Hey, we're under oath here. We can't lie. So we were unaware of his exact location. So we left, and once we realized that our friend was no longer with us outside, we attempted to make entry, but the front door was locked. We ran around the back door was locked, and fearing for my friend's life, I did anything. I did a normal thing that, that anyone would do. Maybe he's up in the lounge. I would do something that anyone would do when it comes to protecting their friend, and I will admit I did cast knock on that back door to gain entry, but I think the level of violence shown was not equivalent to the crime committed.
Disproportionate.
Yeah, disproportionate. Yeah. So the story is we went back in to try and retrieve our friend, and we were attacked by the criminals who had abducted our friend, and we fought against the criminals to try and reclaim our friend. So I've got a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I've got the evidence of forced magical entry. I cast knock to find tricking. Residual invisibility, or I cast invisibility on Thalia in order to locate our friend without alerting the criminals who abducted him. I'm gonna use emotive language as well, evocative language. Arcane scorch marks, which I'm assuming are from me casting magic missile, but I'm assuming as the evidence gets brought up, it'll be more clear. Because some of them are a bit unclear on because the interior storage crate. Is that from me casting arcane? Is that from me casting magic missile?
Sorry?
The arcane scorch marks on interior storage crates. That's from me casting magic missile, correct? Through the doorway. So I won't know.
You won't know.
Right.
This is just...
We've got the broad story. Let's fucking get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into it, yeah.
Cool. Obviously the precedence of a law case is put upon you guys. And the first person is called to the stand. You hear a gentleman go, "Calling Bryn Stock." A gentleman kind of takes the stand, face covered in blood, bandaged hands, he looks quite beat up. This is most likely one of the thugs that had taken quite a considerable amount of damage. You notice he kind of cracks his bruised knuckles a little bit, fidgets with his frost-wrapped hands. You notice a little bit of frostbite on his fingers, and he begins they interrogate, and he begins speaking his turn of events.
I don't go looking for trouble. That ain't me. I was moving boxes, doing my job. They showed up accusing us of murder and of all things. That's not...
Yes, Jackson? Yes?
I can see here that Bartleby's voice identified by 3 townsfolk as yelling accusations. They were not accused of murder, they were accused of trafficking.
You hear the crowd...
There's 3 townsfolk that can testify to that as well.
You hear the crowd all go and gasp. He kind of stutters a little bit and continues after being pushed by Saul Hambo and your group. He continues.
Sefik told us to let him in and let him take a look, and we did. Then they got shady. One of them vanished, and another started hollering out at the front like they were selling people we're selling people in crates or some madness. Then come a loud bang at the back door. I saw blue light, heard wood crack. I ain't a spell guy, but I know magic when I see it. I grabbed my sword only 'cause it looked like a fight was brewing. I didn't start swinging till someone came rushing in. Never threw a punch before that. These bruises are from the unloading timber in the morning.
Wait. Objection!
Yes, barriers.
Okay, so you say that you've got bruises from unloading and loading crates. Would that also explain the splinters embedded deeply within your knuckles? Specifically noted as impact related. Is it a common practice for people who work in your warehouse to punch the crates before they load them into the carriages?
I don't know what you mean.
And then the crowd goes and starts to whisper a little bit.
Interesting. I'm just trying to think.
Can I
if there's anything
also
else.
interject there as well?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
Yeah.
You said that one of our party members split off and disappeared, which is not true. We were given permission to peruse to look for proof that they weren't involved with any murders.
Oh yeah, but you guys left, and then there was one less of you. Like, I'm not good at math, but that means one of yous was skulking about.
One of us was trapped in here. That's why we came back.
The crowd begins to like murmur a little bit at the statements as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's all from me.
Saul
don't think
Hambo
anything else.
slams his hands on the desk and goes,
We are quite confident without line of questioning. Next witness.
it is now that I will get all of you guys to roll a d4.
Scary. What if I have to go first?
Equals
I got a
21, right?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Caltrop.
That's your rolls. I also rolled a 4.
Who?
So Thalion a 2, Tricking a 4, Barrios
A 4.
a 4, and Bartleby
Who?
2. Okay, well, this is very interesting. So Barrios and Tricking, you guys can decide between yous who goes first.
Would you like me to go first, Tricking, or would you like to go
No,
first?
no, Barrios should go at the end.
Okay, I'll go at the end.
I was about to say, I'm going to turn to Barrios and be like, you're a lot better with words than I am. If I make a mess of this, you're going to be the only one that
I'll
can
have
dig
to,
me out.
yeah, I'll have to be the one to dig it out. All right, okay. All right, I'll go.
I'll
I'll go
also
on.
like turn to the rest of the party and I'll give them like a wink and then everything will go
In front of everybody in the crowd.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Okay. So Tricking is led up to the stand, takes his seat, and is sworn in. Cornelius kind of prompts up a little bit and goes, so give us your turn of events. What quite happened?
Oh, wait.
Before we do that, can I make a performance check to look really like sad and miserable, like I was a victim of the situation?
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
I'll give you that. Make a
Yeah.
performance check.
I realized I was
Please be
gonna
good.
say I can cast a message and just communicate and coach him from the thing, but I realized that they probably have some form of magical.
Alertness, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I got a 14.
A 14. Okay, cool. Yep. I will give
Very,
you,
like, Puss in Boots.
based on that, you see a couple of people like, oh, look at the poor cat, like giving you sympathy. I will give you one roll with advantage. Your choice when you use it, based on where we go.
That's tough.
So Cornelius then speaks and he goes, yeah, so give us your turn of events. Tricking, was it?
Tricking, yes, sir. So me and my lovely band of compatriots here have been on a investigation for quite some days now through all of Icewind Dale to find out about some murders. And some of our some of our clues led us to Torg's Trading Company. So we initially decided to go in, introduce ourselves, and ask if we could have a look around, which we were allowed to, quite nicely, before everything sort of took a sudden turn. We were asked to display our goods before we looked through theirs. So me and my band of friends, we decided to play along and do what was asked of us by. And at this point, I'm gonna like pant really like I'm a bit scared, and I'm gonna be like, by that crazy ice guy, the one that throws ice magic around and attack the town guards and attack my friends.
Good one. That's a good one.
I still remember hiding under the stairs as he attacked Thalion, and Thalion was knocked unconscious. I thought it was going to be the end of my friend.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I've just never been in a situation like that. It's terrifying.
Cool. Give me persuasion on that one, I think.
That was so good.
Yeah.
That was so good.
I'm going to use
Brilliant.
my advantage too.
Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty, that was a dirty 22.
Dirty 22. Okay, cool. You see a couple of people. Yeah. You see a few people like nodding and like very sympathetic to the cause, especially with the cat part of it. Cornelius then begins and he's like, "Oh, so you said you were investigating. You didn't happen to be sent by none other than Hlyn Swiftweaver, did you? Because it is very high noted that she has a vendetta against Sefik and Torgs due to some ill deals at some point."
I don't generally know who that person is, sir.
Technically not a
It's
lie.
Give me a deception check though.
Technically not a lie.
Give me a deception check.
I
It
have no
is.
idea who you're talking about.
Technically, it is a lie, but that is the person who gave us the question in the first place. Yeah, that's the person who gave us the question in the first place. Yeah.
Dirty 20. I have a
Dirty
plus
20?
my deception as well.
Cool. Easy.
Holy shit.
He then kind of like rights himself and he's like, "You said your name was Tricking, correct? Could this whole thing be a bit of a trick?"
Okay, racist. All right.
Hang on.
Why would a young man being trafficked use it as a trick? Why would he get himself trafficked as a trick? That makes no sense.
It could quite possibly be to gain some sort of advantage or some, what would you say, coin.
Trafficked.
No, but there is
People
cases in
get
which
paid.
no, the traffic people don't get paid, but people that win court cases get paid. Plus, there's all the publicity that comes with this. You guys might go out and sign a book deal. Like, I don't know. I don't quite care
Wait
for.
a second. Wait a second.
But yeah, this seems
Yeah.
like conjecture at best.
I was gonna say objection, conjecture. This is you may do this, you may do that. Come on, man.
You know better than that.
No.
The judge stamps his gavel. This large gentleman with a green shirt, this big red beard, and this white wig. You can kind of see the balding underneath his white wig. He just goes, "Overruled. Next witness." And we go to our next witness. That is when Lasker is brought to the stand.
Let me get my evidence.
So there is called Lasker Redvein. Foundry. So you see this woman, this very like pale, like almost gaunt woman, long red hair, few scratch marks on her face. You kind of see her eye twitch a little bit, and it flicks to the guards behind you as she speaks quite clearly. You know how it is. I see people snooping. I get nervous. I was by the front door the whole time. I didn't see anyone through. Any tries to sneak past me, they would need to turn invisible or something. And if that happened, I sure didn't see it. But Bartleby, the loud one, he was out there yelling like we had kids in cages. It's lies. Ain't never trafficked nobody. Yes, Bartleby.
I might point out that my friend was confirmed to be trapped in your building.
A couple of the guards kind of like look at each other a little bit. The court stays a little bit more silent than what you would expect. She then continues and says, "When things started to escalate, I stayed where I was told. I used my bow to keep people at range. No blood on me. Just kept my distance." Yes.
Lasker, was it?
Yes, that's my name.
You said you were positioned by the front door and you didn't move.
Positioned there the whole time.
The whole time. So, if you were positioned by the front door, did you turn around and shoot that arrow that was lodged into the front door? From the front door?
Could I also ask if you smelt any strange smells and what they were?
I don't think I smelled anything. Should I have smelled something?
Yes, the can of rotten fish meat that I threw at the door. Case closed.
Case closed. That's it. We're all going home. Yes, tricking.
Can I also cross-examine and mention evidence article 23, minor blood spatter on Lux's sleeve, pattern suggesting close combat? How would she achieve such a blood splatter if she was posted at the door?
So
and,
between your
using range in her bow.
Between your rounds of of bringing up things, tricking. Barrius brings up a thing that the crowd kind of gets like all a little bit excited and like ready to go. Bartleby brings up a thing, kind of quietens them down a bit, and then tricking, bringing up the blood again on her shirt. You see her kind of like look at her arm and go, I don't know what you're talking about. And the jury begin to whisper and murmur together. She then, continues by going, I kept my distance and waited to see if anyone was dumb enough to attack. I didn't hit no guards, didn't even fire all my arrows. Ask anyone. Yes?
I do notice that evidence article 14 states that there are unfired arrows still in your quiver. However, evidence article 15 states that there are fletching fragments matching the arrows that were in your quiver found to be in the shoulder of one of the guards who was wounded.
But maybe there were arrows left. I don't know. I think she then is escorted from the stand, kind of yelling obscenities at the lot of you in an energetic voice. Next, Barrius, Bartleby, and Thalion. I will get y'all to roll a d4.
Please low roll. Fuck! Oh, Thalion, thank God you rolled a 4 as well. 4.
4?
I rolled a 1.
Bartleby, you're up.
Bartleby rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you roll, Jackson?
Thalion and I both rolled 4s.
So it is between you two who you choose who's going.
Thalion.
I will take the stand.
Cool. Thalion, you are taken up.
I say, remember to mention the invisibility.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, Thalion, you are taken up to the stand. Let me just get my notes. Cool. Cornelius kind of speaks up and he's like, so, Thalion, welcome. I see you're quite a dignified man. Please speak on your records of what happened.
So, my traveling companions and I approached this trading post, and where we were attempting to ascertain whether or not the occupants were related to an investigation that were currently ongoing. They invited us inside, we had a look around, and we then left at their behest. Me and one of my other traveling companions noticed that one of our friends was no longer with us, so we attempted to move around the back of the building to see if we might be able to see them and help them get away. And yeah, that's where one of my colleagues rather gently knocked on the door and it opened.
Okay.
So I moved inside to get a better look.
Cool. Cornelius speaks up and he goes, so, you knocked on the front door?
On the front door.
Yes, when you first arrived at Torg's Trading Company, you said you knocked on the front door and you were let
No, I did not do
inside.
that.
You just said you were let inside. What do you mean by that?
No. I said one of my colleagues knocked on a door and it opened.
No, that was quite to the end of your testimony. I'm talking about right at the start of your testimony. You said that you arrived at Torg's Trading Company, the warehouse, and you were let in. When all of my clients say that you all barged in.
That's a lie.
That is a lie.
But that's fine. That's
We did no such thing.
Right, and you, while looking around, you failed to mention what your other colleague, what do you call yourselves, adventurers, spoke about putting your gear on display. Why did you fail to bring that up?
My gear is always on display. I wear it.
I don't see any gear on you now other than the plate. Oh,
Currently
yes,
in a
that's right.
courtroom.
The courtroom, yes. How convenient. The next thing I'd like to ask you about is you mentioned your friend knocked on the back door and it opened. The evidence points towards him casting a spell to open the door.
Well, I'm not privy to the inner workings of magic. He knocked on the door. It opened.
Give me a deception check for that one.
Again,
So far,
it's
you've
the
been
truth,
sliding. So far, you were like sliding across ice with everything that you said, and then this one, I'm like, no, this is a lie. You are well versed in magic.
Deception was it? Sorry.
Yeah, deception.
Nat 20.
That's 20, bro. You see like a bunch of the crowd kind of be like, yeah, he looks like a warrior. He looks like somebody that just brandishes a sword. And then like a few people are like, oh, he looks like one of them holy types. They wouldn't do anything like this. Yeah, you hear like small little smatterings behind the thing. He then continues. Cornelius goes, right, well, I guess I'm done. And then turns around and goes to sit back down. Saul kind of, after one of yous nudge him, he kind of sits up and goes,
We rest.
That's definitely what you're doing, Saul. Good job.
Yeah.
The judge then calls the next person to the stand. Jorund Pike. Stepping to the stand, you see a gentleman in what looks to be like a very fur-lined cloak. It is a little bit better looking than the rest of him. He's got this large scar underneath his eye, and this little part of his necklace hanging from beneath his coat. He kind of he barely meets your guys' eyes, with what would you call it? Like a furrowed brow almost. His voice low and gravelly. He goes, "I was watching the hallway, like Sefik told me. Quiet job. I didn't hear nothing weird. Nobody got past me. If somebody says they'd..." Yes?
Sorry, can I ask, why were you watching the hallway? Were you expecting something to happen? Do you usually have someone on guard to watch the hallway on a normal day of work? I'm assuming your warehouse is secured, so why would you need to have someone watching the hallway?
It is secured, but in our line of work, some people don't quite like the deals that we do. Sefik's told me to watch the hallway. I watch the hallway.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, he then continues.
Nobody got past me. If somebody says they did, they're a liar. When the yelling started out front, I stayed put. Kept my bow ready. But I didn't shoot first. When a shimmer passed me, like the air folded in, I figured it was nerves. Didn't hear any spells. But they were flashes. Sefik never shouted orders. He just stepped into the cold, and everything turned bad real fast. I didn't see him throwing anything. Just cold air got sharp, like it sliced through.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me just say, there are 3 pieces of evidence that just contradict what you just said. So first we have evidence, part number 1, frost dagger fragments embedded in support beam near Thalian's last position. Like you said, you didn't see him casting any spells, but a spell was cast. We've established that now, that a spell was indeed cast.
Spells.
We then have magic residue on Sefik's gloves, specifically evocation ice magic. So, things aren't looking particularly good for Sefik here. The last one, a frozen scorch line across the floor consistent with thrown conjured ice. I think those 3 pieces of
Also,
evidence.
Article 24, where there's wounds that match a thrown dagger as well.
There you go, 4. All 4 of those. I think they pretty consistently contradict your statement that no spells were cast by Sefik.
The rest, the courtroom kind of fills with whispers and murmurs between different people, different groups. Jorund is taken from the stand. You watch as the guard goes to grab his hand and he pulls away and then just gets up and starts moving. Now, Barrios and Bartleby, roll me d4s, please.
Come on, low roll.
No, you want the hard. You would. Oh.
No, because I'll go last.
I rolled a 1.
I rolled a 1 as well.
You both get to choose who goes first.
Bartleby.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah.
Bartleby up to the stand.
I go
Barrios
last. Okay,
last.
perfect.
Cool.
All right.
We call Bartleby Yes, Bartleby. Yes.
Saul Hambo calls. You take the stand. So you are then sworn in and asked for your recollection of the events.
We came to the establishment in search of information surrounding some murders, where Sefik was seen in all instances in the immediate area they happened. Once we were let in, we knocked on the front door, and were let in. We had a nice conversation and came to an agreement that if we show our gear, we can then peruse through their warehouse to look for anything that may tie them to those murders. We were unable to find anything that was suspicious. We happily showed them our gear, and then we were rather rudely shoved out, at which point we realized that our friend was not with us. So I myself tried loudly knocking on the front door while my friends went to the back door, and all I heard was a loud boom, and panicked. An old man, I wasn't sure what to do to get my friend back, so I started yelling and using my whistle.
He begins, Cornelius kind of steps up, brightens his tie a little bit, and he goes, so you mentioned you started using your whistle and heading to the back door, correct?
Yes, I threw my fish can at the window to try and lure them back to the front. That didn't work and the door wasn't budging, so I loudly used my whistle and then started to yell to get attention at what I believed to be happening.
So, what you believe to be happening, what was that?
Them trafficking my friend. Why else would they trap the youngest member of our party in their establishment and push us out the door?
Right, but you found no suspicious things inside. Don't you think those that were trafficking people, children, whatever, would have cages, would have things set up?
That would be too obvious. Why would you traffic a person in a cage that everybody can see? I find it suspicious that the man inside the building was known to be at the place of 3 murders and has now trapped a young party member in his establishment.
And again, who said that these 3 murders even occurred? Are you going on the word of some dwarf? Do you have any proof from a court of law that says he was there?
No, but everything goes on eyewitness, as we are doing now. Until it meets the courts, then we can discuss further, but everything is eyewitness to a point.
Give me a persuasion check, I want to say, for that one.
Persuasion.
That's not my worst stat, so I'll take it.
Give me a strength check to see if you can muscle your way into the conversation.
Give me an athletics check.
No. That was a 17.
17, cool. Yeah, and your line of talking is then ended, and the last enemy is brought to the stand. None other than Sefik himself is called to the stand. You watch his cold, ice-like demeanor. He's very relaxed, and he's kind of like leaning back slightly.
Well, maybe because there's evidence of ice magic being cast, maybe you shouldn't have dressed up so
icy. Yeah. He remains motionless, eyes locked on the lot of you. His voice cool and calculated. He begins speaking. They came in asking about murders. I allowed them to inspect the warehouse because I had nothing to hide. One of their members stayed behind. That much was obvious. The front man began yelling wild accusations, drawing a crowd. I suspected deception and ordered my men to be ready. When the rear door opened without warning, I recognized a breach of trust. I use what I have to defend myself. The code listens to me. That does not mean I desire harm. The first blood was not mine to... Yep.
For someone that doesn't desire harm, murdering one militia member and harming another seems like a wild thing to say.
Like I said, I didn't know what was going on. I just acted merely in self-defense. He then continues speaking. The first blood was not mine to spill. I responded only to chaos. A chaos came quickly. If that's what makes me the villain in this tale, so be it. He's then... Anybody got
I don't have
anything?
anything to say. Shit.
I would like to bring up might I bring your attention to some words that were scratched in an internal wall that say don't trust the cold one, as well as a note warning you about the murders that we came to talk to you about. These are both in the evidence list, which would make it out that you are less trustworthy than you're trying to portray.
Yes, well, like my lawyer said, Lynn Stormweaver has been against us at Togs for quite some time due to what she believes was an ill-matched deal. It was sound at the time.
Are you suggesting that they planted this in your establishment? The one that the last guy said was a secure facility?
That, you did not let me finish. That explains the note. The scratchings, I believe, were from Bryn, who wrote them about the alcohol. He's quite strong on the cold ones.
That is,
I haven't. Yeah, there you go.
that is so funny.
Yes, Valiant?
If it pleases the court, Your Honor, I am very well versed with my religion, and I want to bring it to your attention that I detected that Sefik is in fact an undead being.
And how... And then Saul kind of speaks up. Exactly what I told you to say. And the judge kind of looks at you with an eye and kind of goes, how do you know he's undead? Like, you are a man of the cloth, but is there a way you can prove that he's undead?
My connection with my deity and my oath provides me with certain senses and sensibilities, and I am able to detect whether someone is indeed good or evil or undead.
Cornelius speaks up and he goes, yes, but we can't quite trust you because you are on trial too, remember? You could just be saying this. Yes?
Conjecture.
I would like to, sorry to interrupt you, Thalion. I would like to bring to the court's attention Exhibit 27. Sefik's pulse and temperature were noted as abnormally low by the town healer. I'm sure that you could be able to get a second opinion from anyone else who is a religious type. They would be able to tell you the same thing that our friend Thalion here is telling you.
He kind of nods and looks at a clerk who then takes a few notes and jots down a few things. The courtroom kind of goes silent. Anything else before Sefik steps down and it is Barrius' turn?
There's a couple of things that I would like just to clarify, as they have been submitted as evidence, and I would like to get, as the head of this warehouse, I would like to get your, opinion on this. One crate labeled hazardous was broken open during the scuffle. Now, what was contained in that crate? Why was it out in the open? Shouldn't it have been stored somewhere a bit more secure?
Yes, but you see, we had some people looking around our warehouse that could have moved anything.
I mean,
I believe that crate should have had, if I remember correctly, loose grains of gunpowder in it, hence the hazardous. We had it on a shelf out in our back room, the room in which you came from.
correct. We did come from that room. But if we were to be moving any crates, say a crate storing gunpowder, I'm going to stand up and kind of turn. Anyone in this courtroom can see that I am not a particularly strong fellow. Do you really think that I could have carried that crate of gunpowder out into the main room where the scuffle happened? One, by myself, and two, without any of you noticing? You said that one of your guards was standing in the hallway.
Yes,
Keeping
well, you don't also... He kind of looks you up and down. He goes, you don't also look like the kind of person that could open a door, but here we are. And regardless, I believe one of your friends was invisible. And if my memory serves me correctly, a spell like that turns anything that the person is carrying or wearing invisible.
Wait. I would like to point out that my understanding of that spell is you are correct. However, our friend was found unconscious on the ground when the militia got here with no box next to him.
Yes, but like the evidence, there were cases of... Sorry, he doesn't stutter, because that's just me. He says, there was evidence put into the evidence log at which there were traces of an invisibility spell. I have all of my men to say they didn't see
Yes.
anybody come through, and then all of a sudden he was there.
But you just said that he would have had to have carried that while invisible. If he went unconscious while invisible, he would have dropped where he was with the chest also. The chest was not with him.
You objection to what Bartleby
Sorry,
says?
no, I'm not objecting. I'm gonna try and interject here. And I'm not sure that you'd noticed, but you yourself just said an invisibility spell. There was residue of an invisibility spell, a singular invisibility spell. And I can tell you exactly where the residue for that invisibility spell would be. It'd be in those two doors that lead to the back dock area. I know, because I cast that spell.
Dun, dun, dun.
So you're saying you're able to cast spells of invisibility, but you can't pick up a box magically. You've never been able to do that.
Nope.
And you hear like a couple of murmurs throughout the crowd.
Not at all. I can, if you would like, I can
Give
show
me
you,
persuasion for that one.
Come on, that 20.
Wait, no, can I just say before, I'll turn to the court and say, if you would like, I can show you my spell book. I can show you every single spell that I've ever learned, and I'm assuring you that there's no spell that would allow me to lift any... Featherfall technically doesn't count because that's for
on
people. But
Okay.
there's not a single spell that would let me
The
carry
court,
anything.
the court adjudicator comes over and begins reading your spell book. Read me your spell list.
Okay, spells are... I'm just having a look now. So, Firebolt, Message, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation. Actually, let me just go into my spell book so I can see all of them. So, Firebolt, Message, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation, Alarm, Catapult, Featherfall, Find Familiar, Magic Missile, Shield, Sleep, Witch Bolt, Darkness, Invisibility, Knock, Mirror Image, and Scorching Ray. The only one that I would...
Cornelius brings up Catapult and goes, that is quite like, that's plain as day. He could have moved it.
Okay. Well, let's just say...
Rather an effective way to move something.
how much would a box of gunpowder weigh, would you say? The box for example, the box that was broken, how much would you say that would weigh?
Sefik, he begins to speak and he's like, honestly, I'm not sure. I can lift it by myself, and I'm not quite a strong man. You probably could not lift it, but...
Okay, but if you had to give it a weight rating in pounds, how much, including the box itself, how much would the box weigh?
You're going to have to make me look this up.
Good.
I mean, it doesn't have to be looked up because Sefik would be guessing.
He goes... I would say probably about 500 pounds, maybe less than that.
And he
Okay.
can pick that up. What the fuck?
500 pounds. Okay. 500 pounds. Are you aware of what the spell catapult does? I have in my spell book.
Oh, sorry, not 500 pounds. I got that conversion wrong. I was looking at grams. He goes probably about 5 pounds or so.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. Let me just.
Wait. Well, I want to look it up. What is catapult?
Okay, catapult is choose one object weighing 1 to 5 pounds within range that isn't being worn or carried. The object flies in a straight line up to 90 feet in a direction you choose before falling to the ground, stopping early if it impacts against the solid surface. Okay. I feel obviously yes, catapult is a spell that that I could have casted to move the box. However, I feel like the box would have been in a much worse state. The contents of the box most likely would have been in a much worse state if I had thrown this box at a speed of 90 feet in 6 seconds.
Fucking demonstrated on a chair in the courtroom. Just
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
launch it
Would
off
you
the
like me
wall.
to show you what will happen if I shoot this chair against the wall using catapult? Well, how much is, let's say, at a rate of 90 feet per 6 seconds? I don't know what the conversion is for that. But
Very quick.
yeah. I think the warehouse would have gone up.
There's a few like little murmurings and speeches like from the jury and whatnot. Anything else before Sefik steps down?
No more.
Cool.
Questions.
We rest our case.
And Sefik steps down. He kind of like gives this like, as he walks down off the stand, he kind of like, almost as if in slow motion, looks at you all and just smiles with his cold, dead eyes.
Stepik and I do the that Zoolander meme.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
blue steel as they walk past each other. Yeah.
Yes, tricking?
When he stares me down, I'm gonna like recoil, like, oh.
Give me a performance check for that.
That's a good one.
Oh, that wasn't too good. I got a 10.
Okay, cool. Easy. So you are sworn in and asked to give your recollection of the events.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay. I feel like I'm going to just be reiterating a lot of things, but you know, it is my duty while I'm on the stand to give my experience. We approached the warehouse. We knocked on the door, and were promptly let in. We explained why we were there. We wanted to investigate. There'd been rumors that Sefik had been seen around the site of murders, and we were just doing our due diligence by investigating and following these up. We had no intentions of persecuting him. We just were doing our due diligence. We came to an agreement to display our gear and what we like, our belongings, and then we would be able to in turn search the warehouse and have a look around. We all split up. We all went into different rooms to search. So as we were split up, we all searched separately. We weren't in contact with each other. we reconvened. We reconvened and were rather rudely forced out of the building. Maybe forced is escorted is probably the better word. Escorted out of the building. Once we were at the front, we realized that our dear friend Tricking was missing. Valiant and I decided to have a look around the building to see if he was potentially around the back, something or other. As we kind of came to the back door, we did start to panic a little bit. That is when we heard the yelling coming from Bartleby, and we kind of sprang into action. I do admit, I did act a bit hastily, but what is someone to do when their friend's life is at risk? I did cast Knock, the spell Knock, on the back door of the warehouse, purely in an attempt to discern the whereabouts of my friend. Obviously, Knock is not a particularly stealthy spell. They would have heard me coming. I was, I was in no. There was no illusion of stealth. I just wanted to know where my friend was. That changed, however, once we got in, and I heard the sounds of a scuffle inside. Something was happening. I wasn't sure what. Once again, in a panic, I cast invisibility on my friend Thalion, and this was purely to avoid bloodshed, any sort of conflict. I was casting invisibility on him so he could go in there, locate our friend, and get out as peacefully as possible. However, once we got in there, let's say all hell broke loose, and obviously you've seen the scene, the guards here, the brave guards who risked their lives to put an end to this combat that was happening. May God rest their souls. He's really playing to the audience. Well, yes, and that's why we're here, isn't it? But I promise you, I know that I may have done some unlawful things, cast some spells, but I'm telling you now, it was all in an effort to make sure my friend was safe and secure.
Cornelius kind of speaks up and he's like, so you mentioned that you cast Knock and Invisibility. Were there any other spells that you cast?
Yes, I did cast Magic Missile.
Yes, quite gorily, if I remember. If I remember the reports, you blew a hole in a guy.
In self-defense. As I've demonstrated to the courtroom, I am not a very strong person. I'm not a man of great constitution or strength.
Not of great constitution, no, but you can send something, a 5-pound object, 90 feet in 6 seconds, your own words?
Well, yes, that's
it's quite fast.
Yes, it is. That's why I'm saying that if I did cast it on that gunpowder, that crate of gunpowder, I assure you that none of us here would be there would not be enough of us there for the clerics to bring back. That's what I'm saying.
Give me a persuasion check.
19.
19, cool.
Hell
Holy
yeah.
shit, we are rolling so well. That's
Dice are
great.
being very friendly.
They're very friendly. Thank you, dice.
He then speaks up, Cornelius speaks up again and goes, and what about the reports that you were also calling trafficking accusations to the onlooking crowd?
Yes, I was. Once I got in there and realized that my friend was missing, and that my friend was being kidnapped, and my friend was being apprehended. What else was I supposed to do? I was seeing it there with my own eyes.
He kind of like adjusts, kind of looks up a little bit and goes, interesting. You see, you keep talking about doing this only in defense, but I have reports which I have submitted just recently to the court about a group matching your exact look, assaulting a couple of fishermen a few towns over.
Objection. I can't get to the button quick enough. I don't know if I should do this in character or out of character, so I'm going to start out of character. I'm pretty sure that if our lawyer hasn't seen it, you can't have it put into court at all. Like, that's not allowed.
I mean,
Like,
yes,
it's
but
like
people are
bloody
paid
cut.
off here with gold. So, like, it's fantasy, bro.
It's whatever.
It's not proper law.
Okay, in character then.
It's I find it interesting that this evidence was put in without our lawyer being able to have a look through it. Seems like you're just trying to paint a picture of us.
Just like how you're trying to paint a picture of my clients.
Okay, no, that's fair.
A client that has openly murdered one of the town militia. Everyone saw that.
You hear like a couple of murmurings throughout the crowd.
Okay, I will admit, in East Haven, there was a bit of a scuffle with a couple of ferrymen, I suppose would be the best word. They
Extortionists is what they
yes,
are.
they were aggressive towards us. I do regret how the situation was handled, but I'm sure what your report probably isn't leaving out, but you are choosing to leave out of the report, is that we then journeyed out onto the frozen lake to find the remains of 2 fishermen who went missing. We found their boat. There was also a nearby cave. Once we got into the cave, we realized that they had been eaten by a hag. And we managed to rid East Haven of this hag.
I'm going to
but
stop
surely
you
we-
right there. Like, where is
Okay.
your proof for this?
You can
Where
ask.
is yours?
You can ask. You can ask.
He then produces like a bit of paper that has like multiple accounts of you guys assaulting the 2 fisherman brothers.
Please, you can reach out to Imdra Arlagarth. She'll be able to tell you.
At the mention of Imdra, you hear a couple more whispers throughout the crowd.
We took our mission directly from her, and we reported directly to her.
Cornelius kind of scoffs a little bit and goes, "No more questioning," and then like walks back to his desk.
Okay.
That is when you lot are shackled, reshackled again, and brought together. The judge kind of goes, "Jury, you have your evidence. Make your deliberation quick and just, like the hammer of God. And we look forward to your verdict." And he kind of like nods, and they leave. For the time being,
It's really hard because I'm so old.
for the time being, the prisoners will be returned to their cells and await further judgment. And he hits his gavel on the table. And you guys are taken back to the icy cell, the icy jail cell.
I'm gonna do exactly what I did before and heat up a square of ground and a square of wall every hour, and just sit there. And
Is there actual snow in the cell, or is it just cold rock?
It is cold. There is a little bit of snow, yeah, that's kind of fallen through like a little, not a big enough hole for to escape through, but like a little bit of a hole.
Cool. I'm gonna use my survival skills to like pack it into a snow bed and then lay down and go to sleep.
Fair. You pack it into a snow bed and fall asleep. Tricky?
I'm gonna start hitting the old like freak out. I can't go back to jail. I'm gonna be like rattling the bars and like pacing back and forth.
I gotta get out, man. I gotta get out.
I can't do that again.
I can't go back again, man.
Sorry, I'm just
Yeah,
doing
That's right. I'm
math.
Gonna just I'm gonna get comfy and kind of.
Well, that went swimmingly. See you in the morning.
I think that went quite well. I will. Yes. I can.
I'm gonna turn to Bartleby and
Hopefully.
like, see you in hell, old man.
We'll be out of here in no time.
I love your optimism. Barris is gonna go down for a sleep as well.
Cool. You guys spend another very uncomfortable night in this icy cold cell. You guys are woken up in the morning to the sound of the guards again shouting, getting people ready, like exiting guards and entering guards and putting people through the ringer, all that kind of stuff. You guys wake up. What do you guys want to do?
Wait until the guards come.
Cool. Roll me a
Stand up, dust
perception
myself
check.
off. 15.
Cool. You guys notice, you notice that Uncle Bart is still asleep on the floor.
Oh,
Uncle
I'll
Bart's
go
died in his sleep.
I'll go shake him awake. Uncle Bart.
You shake him and his body is very limp and cold.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? He died. He's dead. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna start giving him. I'm gonna start trying to resuscitate him.
You latch onto his cold, crusty lips.
Oh my god!
Trying to breathe a little bit of life back into Uncle Bart, and it does not seem to work at all. Yes, tricking?
Seeing this, I'm gonna start like freaking the fuck out. I'm gonna
Oh my
scream for help.
god!
Like help! Help! The old man! The old man, he's died! Help!
So as you guys do that, you see a ripple of cold air that sweeps through the space as a curtain of shadows stirs in the air. Thin and wispy like smoke on a still night. The veil parts without sound, revealing a sliver of shifting darkness. From within, a silhouette emerges, slowly at first, until with a step that seems to echo beyond the material world, a man walks through. The portal clings to them for a heartbeat, tendrils of shadow curling along their form, before retreating with a whisper and vanishing entirely. They now stand before you, unchanged, yet somehow touched by whatever lies beyond that shrouded gate. You see a haggard but maintained man with shaggy hair and a short, groomed beard and moustache. He wears a modest but well-built half-plate armor that has an effigy of what appears to be the Grim Reaper on his chest. A simple short sword and various pouches hung from his belt.
Does he look familiar at all?
Roll me a history check.
Oh, 25.
You've never seen this man before. Yes, Tricky?
Hello?
I'd like to prepare an unarmed attack.
Okay. You like prepare your claws, ready to pounce on this guy.
I get my book. I'm like, who are you?
Stanley. I'm Stanley.
Stanley. What? Stanley who? Why? Why are you here? Who are you?
I'm here for him. And he points at Bartleby.
You're. Oh, okay. All right. What are you gonna do with him?
I'm just here to collect his soul. That's all. That's my job. That's what I do.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Tricky?
Yeah, he's dead, so we have to... Look, the Grim Reaper is busy. Yeah, he has people that work for him.
Sure.
I'm one of them, so I come and collect the souls on his behalf, and then take him
Make
back.
my unarmed attack now.
Go ahead. Roll the hit.
I'll contest.
Well, it's just against your
That would be
AC.
like-
Yeah.
I think it's
Should
just a
be-
strength, isn't it?
+1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's strength. Yeah.
It was a 5.
Doesn't work.
You latch on, like you kind of like scratch a bit of his half plate.
I will use my reaction.
Hellish rebuke.
New cranial rupture. So you go to latch onto me, and I just fucking teleport straight through you. You need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Fantastic. Alright, +2. That's pretty bad. That was 17, so 19.
You take. Hang on.
You take hang on
Dragon's Connoisseur,
damage.
Did he kill his character off so he doesn't have to face the music
No.
for what we've done last
No,
session?
this is what you told me about.
You take 11 necrotic damage for trying to grab me, pretty
God.
much.
All right. Okay. Maybe
Look,
this
look,
probably,
I'm not here to
I know,
fight anyone.
I understand. This
I've
probably
got
isn't
a
the
job
right.
to do.
Yeah, I understand. If you could, just we are currently grieving. I was very close to
Yeah,
him.
I've got some paperwork I gotta do before I do the soul thing anyway. And he takes out an old-looking book. It's leather bound, looks creepy as fuck. Old pages, and just starts writing some stuff. And
Barry's
after
gonna be like-
after a couple of minutes, you just hear as he rips part of the page out and waits.
Yes, Tricky.
Wait.
Can I just ask where everyone is positioned in the cell?
I'm leaning up against the back wall of the cell with my foot, like, you know, like when you lean against a wall and you put your foot up against it.
Are you near the
Wow.
corpse?
Like a cool hipster.
Would you describe yourself as near the corpse, Smarty?
I wouldn't.
Why?
What about you?
Well, I was just
Darius?
giving it. I was just trying to resuscitate him.
Yeah, then I won't do what I was gonna do.
What were you gonna do?
Gonna quack off a thunder wave.
Oh my god!
Blow a hole in the bloody
I think
cell.
Thunderwave would hit everyone in the cell. To be
Mhm.
honest, I don't think the cell is more than 15 feet in each
If you were
direction.
behind me though, we'd be alright.
No, because it's all around you.
Yeah, but the thunder wave wouldn't like project.
The
force
sound is
into
all
the-
around, but it's a cone, so it only goes in one. But it's not going to work based on.
Oh,
how
it's
everyone's standing
Thunderwave.
anyway.
I thought Thunderwave was a.
No, Thunderwave is all around, centered on you.
Yeah.
Thunderclap is the one that's a cone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you?
Ranging
Sorry.
cell
What?
15 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a
15
15-foot
cube
cube centered on yourself.
What are you? Sorry. Can I ask what you're waiting for?
No, it's a soul ledger, so I fill it out and then I rip out the tag and I put it on the body, and then the soul comes with me. Or I
Okay,
can
well-
send the soul, like it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Well, do you mind if I quickly just have a moment with him? before-
Yeah, by all means. I'm not here.
Thank you.
He's-
Gonna kneel down.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah,
he's,
like-
he's in the corner, like, Thalian's to his right, leaning on the wall, and he's just like, okay.
Barris is gonna kneel down and kind of say a little bit of a silent prayer and just say, you were one of the father figures I had in my, in my life, and I'm very, very sad to see you go, but I know that, well, I hope that, and I kind of give Stanley a sideways glance and be like, I hope that your soul's going to a better place. You're like, I hope that your soul's going to a better place and that you find the isolation and peacefulness that you desire. And I'm just gonna,
Tricking?
stand up and.
At this point in time, I'd like to lean next to his corpse as well. If Barris, are you like out of the way? Are you still with his corpse?
Yeah, I've stood up and I've kind of backed away. Yeah.
And loot the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going for cold wet.
Jesus, I saw that coming.
Fucking hell.
I'd like to roll for stealth while I do it, like just shimmy around and be like, Bartleby, you were a good friend, a forgettable friend, always there to lend a hand, and give me some cold wet canned meat. You'll be missed. As I'm just like rifling through trying to get this cans of cold meat and his gold out of his pockets.
Cool, give me sleight of hand.
That is a 21.
21. Is anybody's passive perception higher than 21?
Fuck no.
No.
No, none of you notice as Tricking picks the pocket of your dead friend.
Somehow Bartleby's corpse is not the coldest one here.
Yeah. Stanley, or Ethan, I should really address you as right now. Can you please tell Tricking how much gold Bartleby had on him?
Yeah. So you get. That's the wrong.
Or if there are any like loose knickknacks or anything like that, he would have kept on his person.
Yeah. So 10 gold, 13 silver, 25 copper, and then the smaller items that I would say you would be able to get without anyone noticing would be obviously numerous cans of wet meat.
Yep.
A bone whistle, a blue liquid vial, and a small gold harp.
I'm gonna write these things down, or could you just send me them in chat and I will
Yeah.
add them to my inventory for chance.
Cool.
And then I'm just gonna like pretend to close his eyes and be like, "You'll be missed." Chuck everything into my pockets.
Nobody notices.
I'll go up to Stanley and say, yeah, we're ready now. You can do it whatever you need to do.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for your loss.
That's okay.
Okay, sure. And I like go and do my thing, and I put the ledger on and fill out some more bookwork, and then you start to see what you can assume is the soul dissipate off. I don't follow it because I don't want to be rude and just fuck off with it.
You can add 1 soul point to your ledger, Stanley.
Hell yeah, dude.
Wait, what? What are you? What? I'm so confused. Anyway. Okay.
Your guys' group's silence is kind of interrupted by a guard that comes over with 4 sets of manacles, and he goes, "You 4, hands in the hole," and points to the lot of you.
What?
I said,
we're
hands through the hole.
We're
Yeah.
currently on. Okay. Yes. We're currently on trial for a crime we didn't commit.
Oh,
Put my hands through the hole.
And
I'm
clicks
not with
the
them.
manacles
I-
up. Look,
Sorry, he's not with us.
Well, I've heard that one before. Hands in the hole.
Shit.
Oh, well, you're in it now, mate.
Okay. I mean, I could teleport out, but I feel like that might be bad for you.
Oh well. I
Be with
mean,
you.
Well, I said hands through the hole.
Okay.
okay. Well, as soon as we're out of here, look, we're gonna win anyway. As soon as we're out of
Yeah,
here.
streaky,
Everybody is manacled and taken back to the courtroom where Saul Hambo and Cornelius Vane await you. You also see the multiple other, the multiple people, the bandits. More people from the crowd have kind of like joined in. Like it looks like this is a pageantry of almost. As you guys kind of walk in, Cornelius gives you that look again and then looks away. And you walk over to the desk where Saul Hambo is, and he kind of gives you a like thumbs up.
Okay. That's a good sign, I think.
It is then that the verdict is read. So the judge looks at the jury and goes, "So what do you find, jury?" And the jury speaker steps up and goes, "Well, we find in the case of these 4 adventurers, name TBD, to against that of Cefic Caltro and the Torgs Trading Company. We find the defendants, that being the group of adventurers, not guilty, Your Honor." And he goes, "And that of Cefic and his crew?" The jurors speak up and goes, "Well, yeah, in the opposite way, we find Cefic and his group of trading company merchants guilty." It is then that the judge says, "Right, well, I sentence you all to remain behind bars for the end of your days, and I award some spoils to the victors." And then he hits the hammer and then walks away from the thing.
He's just standing there in cuffs, like, "The fuck is going on here?" What the?
Well, you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to worry about it. We just won. So,
Don't read too much into it.
Hooray!
yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
Guess the dwarf didn't fit.
Yeah,
Wow.
Got him.
Got him. So as you guys are being unchained from your manacles and set free, you kind of like touch your wrists. They're a little bit sore from the manacles, but they'll be fine with some rest, and maybe some ointment. It is then that Saul Hambo speaks up and he goes,
Well, I told you we were. I felt lucky about this one. Yes.
Yeah. I'll give you some advice.
Yes, I'm always open for advice, even though it is coming from somebody that is not quite as legally minded as me.
Sure. You see what we did as a party?
Yes.
collectively?
Yes.
That's what you need to do. Okay.
Yeah, but you're forgetting that I was the one that gave you the evidence. Without me, you wouldn't have known that stuff.
So basically,
But it's okay. I will only take a small portion of the winnings, and we will be on our way.
And how much is
bailiff, and he kind of like walks off.
How much is a small portion? Of
You
the
see
winnings?
him walk off with like this small little chest that seemingly is slightly overflowing with gold. And the bailiff
Is he taking?
brings over a small sack of 30 gold pieces for the lot of you.
What? Fucking 30 gold pieces, and this motherfucker gets a chest. Fucking hell.
Is that 30 gold pieces each?
No, 30. Well, let's say 40 total. That way it's easily divisible by 4. As Saul leaves the courtroom, he goes, "And don't forget, if you ever need me, just call Saul." And then he walks out. There you are. The judge no longer there. The jury no longer there. The courtroom slowly empties out, and you guys are left there at the stand in an empty courtroom.
Let's get out of here as well. Oh, actually, first. Oh yeah, sorry, go.
We need to organize a funeral for Bart.
Yes,
Yeah, Bart.
Bart will be to you.
Bart.
Yes.
I feel like you're a father figure to me too, after all this.
So you guys head back towards the town, like towards where the cells are, and you notice them like dragging Bartleby's body by his leg out of the cell. and just like slowly dragging him all the way out of the.
And they'll be like, whoa, that's no way to handle a corpse.
I would want to stop
leave
them
it.
and say,
Yeah, leave it there.
He just like looks at you for a second and then lets go of the leg, and the leg just falls. Bartleby's still like slightly like lying on the floor in a weird angle.
has rigor mortis set in yet? Yeah, has rigor mortis set in yet?
It's getting close to.
Frozen
Yeah.
stiff anyways. Because
Yeah.
it's lying on snow.
You notice
well, we
like
need to-
chips of him missing.
Oh my god. Before these guards go, can I quickly just be like, is there a funeral, like a funeral parlor or anything, somewhere that takes care of the deceased in town?
We normally just throw them over the wall and let the wolves take care of them.
Right, okay. Well, we're not going to do that, but thank you anyway. We'll take the body, and I think
He
we'll
kind
have
of
our own...
he goes, "No worries," and he puts out his hand and goes.
I'm just gonna
I
shake
give
his
him...
hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, shake his hand.
He just looks at you with like this little bit of a scowl and goes, "Ugh," rolls his eyes and then walks away.
Alright, well, we take the body.
Cool. You guys take the body.
I'd like to
You can add Bartleby's body to your inventory.
Oh my god, I will not be doing that.
Yeah, Bartleby's corpse.
I was gonna say,
I would-
gonna part him out or something to make him easy to transport.
I feel like
No,
we'll take him
no.
somewhere kind of secluded and...
I
we
can like just send his whole body through to the other plane if you'd like.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, will
Since
he
they're
be...
just gonna fucking chuck him over the wall anyway.
Well, I mean, I'd like to cremate him and scatter his ashes.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I'm well versed in dealing with the dead,
Okay.
so I can help if you need.
I'm gonna cast bonfire on the body.
Yes, tricking.
Before anyone casts bonfire, I would like to take Bartleby's coat. Just like,
Cool. You take
Oh
his
my
coat.
goodness.
His
fucking-
very normal sized jacket is like a full length trench coat,
Yeah.
thick fur on you.
that
I
looked
would like
a
to-
shoplift in the middle of summer.
Yeah. Can we not cremate Bartleby's body right out, like, in front of the prison? Can we just take it, like, out onto, like, somewhere a little bit scenic? Like, can we go out of the city into the wilderness and that way we can cremate his body and then...
Very well, Barrius. We will build a pyre.
Yes,
Yeah, I
thank
agree
you.
with that. Let's make that our next order of business.
Cool.
Yeah, well, let's go do that now.
As you guys begin to drag or lift Bartleby's corpse into the wilderness, that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, man. That was... It was such a good session. That was so much fucking fun. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so much fun.
So that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Welcome, Stanley. You want to share anything, or you want them to find out?
We'll leave it till next.
We'll leave it
Alex,
till
I
next
wanna know-
session.
I want to know how Stanley's gonna stay, because he's here, but he has no reason to
just
stay.
appeared out of nowhere and got paid 10 gold. He might just hang around.
Yeah, true. He's like, actually, 10 gold.
I got let out of jail that I wasn't in and got paid 10 gold for it. So
Yeah.
But we will deal with that stuff next session.
yeah.
Thank you again to our two sponsors, Stabby Joe & Co. and W.GG. I hope everybody that was watching enjoyed the little bit of difference in tonight's session. And we will see you in a few weeks' time. Bye-bye.
Hell yeah.
Bye-bye.